So I'm going to run through a little bit of Nicholas's experiences first, and talk about the entire about what his experience was, and then we will open it up to questions from everyone. So maybe to start off with, Nicholas, could you tell us a little bit about your career trajectory before you became the museum director at the Herakleidon Museum in Athens?
Yes, I very non-traditional path. My background has actually nothing to do with art. It's more of an administrative background. In my previous career, I was what's called a tanker broker. So my responsibility was to manage the fleet of a ship owner, specifically oil tankers, to move them around the world. And after being invited to Greece, I've been here since 1992, after working in New York and in Hamburg, Germany. I worked with this specific gentleman for about 6 years, and then I burned out. I was just miserable and hating my life. But he, at the ripe age of in his mid 70s, he decided that he wanted to diversify, and he opened a cultural center. And he said to me, "I see that you're miserable, and I'm opening this cultural center, and I don't want it to be run by someone who doesn't have a business background. I want it to be run properly." So he said to me, let's open the door for you into the nonprofit world. And within a month, I realized that this was my calling, because it was something that it wasn't that commercial pressure that was creating that incredible stress in my life. And it was more focusing on, creating audiences and fundraising, but fundraising for specific causes so that the institution could proceed. So that I found that this was my place. Unfortunately, 6 months after we opened, the gentleman passed away, and his children were committed to his dream. And they said, "We're going to run this together." So we ran it for 5 years. But then after 5 years, they lost their interest, because it wasn't in their plan to have a cultural center. So they decided to close it down. But that's where I met the founder, the couple, Paul and Belinda Firos. They were visiting Athens, and they were at that time making plans to open their own private museum in Athens. They visited our center, and they liked it very much. And we started, discussions, and them finding out that this place was closing, they said, "Okay, then, as soon as you're available, we want you to start with us." So that was in 2003, and I've been with Paul and Belinda since then. So in 2004, we opened the museum, and it was basically, it's a total, project of passion, where they bought these two beautiful neoclassic buildings and spent, enormous amounts of money in renovating them and bringing them up into international museum standards, and started in 2004 by exhibiting their own collections. Basically, their three major collections are M.C. Escher, Toulouse-Lautrec, and Victor Vasarely. And then after that, we started a program of bringing in other exhibitions and promoting them, and having them to our audience as well. So that, so I went from shipping into art management.